now, from the IBA at Winchester, engineering announcements for the radio and television trade.
Hello, welcome to this week's IBA digest of news and information for the radio and television trade. The recent weather conditions have produced complaints of co-channel interference, so we're giving a repeat showing of a feature on this problem. In transmitter news there are lots of special announcements, news of ILR in Leicester, the latest on Channel 4 coverage and details of 2 new relays. In Wales, Trevelyan, and in Kent, Newnham. Also in Kent, details of extended coverage from the Chatham Town relay. But first, co-channel interference.
During the last fortnight, the whole country has enjoyed a spell of sunny weather. Unfortunately, such weather, caused by an anticyclone, means that television viewers may suffer from co-channel interference. To help you calm the irate customer, here is an item which we hope you will find useful.
This is the interference a viewer sees when his receiver picks up an unwanted transmission at the same time as the wanted one, and where the two are on the same channel. The interference appears on the screen in the form of near horizontal parallel bars of light and dark. Just how many bars depends on the actual difference in frequency between the carriers of the wanted and unwanted signals.
The carriers of UHF transmitters in the UK are kept within a tolerance of plus or minus 500 Hz of their nominal frequencies. So this means that the maximum possible difference in frequency between two signals on the same channel should be 1 kHz. Since the field repetition rate is 50 Hz, the interference pattern will consist of 20 bars, in the extreme case where two transmitters were at the opposite ends of their frequency tolerances. If the relative level of the wanted to unwanted signal voltage at the receiver aerial socket is increased to about 46 dB, or 200 to 1, research shows that the average viewer will be aware of the interference but not find it disturbing. To provide national coverage of 4 programs in the UHF band will require well over 2,000 individual transmitters, and these will have to share just 43 available channels. Since interfering signals of just a few microvolts could cause visible interference, this would impose severe restraints on frequency planning and the number of stations the broadcasters could provide.
Fortunately, there is a way to alleviate this problem. If we look at the spectrum of a television video signal, it appears as a comb of bands of energy starting at the carrier frequency and extending some 5.5 MHz. If we take a close look at the spectrum, we can see that the teeth of the comb are separated by the line frequency, which for 625 line systems with a field frequency of 50 Hz is 15.625 kHz. If we introduce CCI and then alter the carrier frequency of one transmitter relative to another, the sideband comb of one can be made to interleave with the other, and so the unwanted energy occupies a part of the spectrum which contains less energy of the wanted signal. Subjectively, the interference becomes less visible. By offsetting the carriers by 1/3 and 2/3 of the line frequency, we could then fit 3 transmitters into such a system.
In practice, the offsets chosen in this country are plus or minus 5/3 line frequency. That's a difference of plus or minus 26 kHz, since this avoids an audible beat between the carriers. The interference pattern in the case of offset interference consists of about 80 to 120 bars, depending on the exact difference in carrier frequency. We now find that for perceptible but not objectionable levels of interference, the average viewer will accept a ratio of 30 dBs, that's 32 to 1. The use of frequency offsets therefore means that the tolerable level of interference can be increased by a factor of 6.
When planning television services, the broadcasters cooperate in frequency planning at both a national and international level to avoid causing each other undue interference. In the UK, we try to ensure that within the service area of a transmitter, the viewer will experience perceptible but not objectionable interference for less than 5% of the time.
The broadcasters take great pains to ensure that the level of any CCI is acceptable in the service area of a station. Sites are chosen so that viewers can use their aerial directivity to best advantage, and careful use is made of both horizontal and vertical polarization of the signals from stations which could otherwise cause mutual interference.
There are precautions that a dealer can take when erecting an aerial, particularly if trying to receive an out-of-area service, which is more likely to be prone to CCI. Aerial directivity and intelligent orientation of a null can help reject the co-channel signal, and use of a receiving aerial with a balun should reduce the effect of any CCI picked up on the outer braid of the coaxial feeder. In some cases, it's possible to mount the aerial in such a way as to take advantage of the screening effect of local structures to reduce the level of the unwanted signal. Should you come across an intractable CCI problem, do give our engineers a ring and we'll be only too pleased to offer our advice and try to help resolve the difficulty.
Transmitter news now, starting with special announcements. In Scotland, Durris continues on reduced power on all channels until the replacement aerial system is installed in October. Also in Scotland, Perth is liable to interruptions during mornings only for the next couple of weeks because the aerial system is being overhauled. In Shropshire, Clun will be off the air tomorrow between 6 AM and noon on all channels for mast maintenance by the BBC. In the Orkneys, Keeling Hill will be off the air tomorrow between 9:30 AM and 4:30 PM for work by the Electricity Board. And in Cornwall, St Just will be off tomorrow from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning for essential electrical maintenance.
In Wales, Kilvey Hill will be off tomorrow and Thursday between 6 in the morning and noon for painting of the mast. And in Dorset, Bridport will be off tomorrow and Thursday between 9:30 and 10:30 in the morning because of maintenance by the Electricity Board. In Yorkshire, the Otibridge Relay will be off on Thursday for work by the Electricity Board. In Cornwall, Truro will be off on Thursday between 9:30 and 10:30 in the morning for electrical work. In Wales, on Thursday, Llanarmon Unyal will be off from 9:30 AM until 3:30 PM, and Rayola will be off from 8 to 9 in the morning and 4 to 5 in the afternoon, both because of work by the Electricity Board.
In Shropshire, Whittingslow will be off on Thursday on all channels between 6 AM and noon to permit mast painting. In the Borders, Lauder will be off on Thursday between 10 AM and 4 PM for maintenance by the Electricity Board. And in Wales, Merthyr Tydfil will be off next Monday from 9 AM to noon, again for maintenance work by the Electricity Board.
Now radio and trade transmissions from Leicester Sound started on Friday. Full programme service is expected to start in about a fortnight. Transmissions are on 97.1 MHz VHF in stereo and 1260 kHz, that's 238 metres in the medium wave band. More details next week.
New television relays now, and the coverage of the Chatham Town relay has now been extended to include another 1,100 people in the Luton and Capston Road areas. Viewers in the original service area should not be affected by this change. Programmes from Television South and TVAM are on Channel 61. Channel 4 on 54 is due in the third quarter of next year. The correct aerial is Group CD, vertically polarised. So Chatham Town now in full service with its coverage extended.
In Wales, near Lampeter in Dyfed, the Trevelyan relay is now in full programme service. This station provides coverage for about 1,000 people in Trevelyan itself, and also Llangeitho, Ystrad Erin and parts of Bwlch Llan. Programmes provided by HTV Wales and TVAM are on Channel 60 with S4C on 53. Aerials should be Group CD, vertically polarised. Trevelyan near Lampeter is now in full programme service.
In Kent, near Faversham, the Newnham relay is expected to start trade tests later this week. Newnham will serve over 600 people living in the valley from about a half a mile southwest of Doddington to about 1.5 miles northeast of Newnham. Programmes from Television South and TVAM will be on Channel 24 and Channel 4 on 31 from the outset. Viewers will need Group A aerials vertically polarised. Newnham in Kent expected to start trade tests later this week.
Channel 4 next, and in Cornwall 2 relay stations started transmissions last week. St Just is on Channel 54, covering some 4,000 people, and Westward Ho is on Channel 31, covering a population of about 2,500. In the Channel Islands, 3 relay stations started transmitting Channel 4 last week. Les Tuyers is on Channel 52, serving some 30,000 people. St Peterport is on Channel 31 for about 1,500 people, and Torteval is on channel 66 for about 500 people. And in northwest England, the Glossop relay is expected to start channel 4 transmissions later this week. Glossop will be on channel 32 and provide coverage to a population of some 30,000.
Well, that's all for this week. If you have any reception problems or technical queries, here's our address. Engineering Information Service, Independent Broadcasting Authority, Crawley Court, Winchester, Hampshire, SO21 2QA. Our telephone number is Winchester STD code 0962 822444. If it's more convenient, you can call our London number, that's 5847011, but please ask for engineering information. Or join us again next Tuesday at 9:15 only. For the next couple of weeks, the 12:15 showing has been cancelled because of programme commitments. So from John Lovell and myself, Janet Smythe, goodbye from Crawley Court.